What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy B-Hop Radio Shout-In. Stepping in the building, I got a legend, an icon. I mean, one of the coldest to ever do it off in this thing. Mac, what's good with it, boss?
Man, what's going on? Look, I need to sample that intro that you just did because I need to walk around in my house and just play that. Just kind of make me feel good in the morning.
First of all, Mac, I just got to go straight to it with the lyrics, man. What was it about you that made you say, you know what, I'm in New Orleans. I understand that y'all got a bounce scene going on around here, but I need to come with these bars.
Well, a combination of things, but probably most prevalent would be just the East Coast influence. I always grew up listening to a lot of Rakim, Cool G Rap, or Slick Rick, LL, Big Daddy Kane. It was always those guys that kind of had a major influence on my rhyme pattern, and I'm a person who I was attracted to complexity.
Yes,
if
sir.
something was too simple, I kind of shied away from it.
Yes, sir. Now, Mac, first of all, I got to say welcome home, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you, bro.
How does it feel being back on these streets, being able to maneuver how you want to again?
Man, it feel great. I mean, honestly, it feel great. If I used any other word
Yeah.
about how I feel, I'd be lying. And I don't lie on Saturdays. I lie on Fridays, sometimes Mondays, but I don't lie on Saturdays.
I feel that.
I got that just for the record.
Now, Mac, I need you to take me to the start, though, man. When was it that the love for the music hit you and you realized that it was time for you to start spitting? Because, see, my whole thing is for you to be a child prodigy off in this thing, it had to hit you out the womb.
Well, I think around, I grew up listening to hip-hop, and I think around 7 years old was when I decided, okay, I want to try this. I was watching New Edition's video for Cool It Now, and I heard the end part when Ralph was like, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, and I was like, oh, man, I can do that. So I wrote a rhyme, and the first two people I let hear my rhyme was my cousin Wiz, who was in here, and
What up, though, Wiz?
And my Uncle Bean, rest in peace.
Yes, sir.
So we started that in around 84, 85. I started really writing, and the first rapper that I went rap for was a guy named Sporty T. He had a big influence on me too because he was my uncle's best friend.
Yeah.
And he had a song out in New Orleans, and I just loved the way he flowed, and he was a person I was kind of patterning my style behind.
Yes, sir. Being a lyrical midget, man, what was that like as a kid, being able to jam and then having tracks from a young Manny Fresh at the same time?
Man, it's weird because at the time, Manny is a legend now.
Yeah.
I saw him in the early stages, so he was just Manny to me, and he was a guy who made fire tracks, and I basically sat up night after night just watching Manny do what he do, and that kind of drew my interest for wanting to be a producer myself.
Yeah.
So Manny kind of helped me before I met Manny. I just used to write long ass songs. The songs that never ended, and Manny kind of sat me down and was like, "Look, Lil Mac, you gotta make this many bars," and he taught me how to arrange my songs into bars and choruses and stuff like that.
At that time as a child, just jamming, man, what was your lifestyle like being in the limelight, getting busy that early?
Oh, well, the crazy thing is, it was the same. I had a straight up normal childhood. It was weird because my parents, part of the deal they made with the record label was like, yo, if my son grades go down, then this contract is null and void. So I had to, do my schoolwork. I had straight A's and stuff like that. And what was weird was I still got my ass whooped by my parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They wasn't playing no games. And,
Yeah.
Whenever I tried to get outside of line or whenever I went to smelling myself,
Yeah.
old folks say,
I'm with you.
they put that pain on me to make sure, I don't care who you think you are on this microphone, you still live McKinley in this house. And
Facts.
my dad is Big McKinley.
Come on now.
You know how that go.
Being a lyricist in a bounce atmosphere, what was that like too? When everybody else gravitating towards a different sound and you over here on the left side with it saying, you know what, I'm coming with the bars.
All right. Weird, oddly enough, when I started, bounce didn't exist. So bounce formed about 1992 with a record called Where They At by DJ TT Tuck, by TT Tuck and DJ Herb.
Yeah.
My album came out in '89. So when I started it, our only influence was basically brothers either from the East Coast or the West Coast. So by the time Bounce came about, it was something new. I was already
doing your do.
In my, my way of doing things. So that's probably why I didn't just
gravitate to that
Bounce, because I was already doing it before Bounce existed.
Now, I read that you had an offer from Def Jam early on before you even went to No Limit.
So here's what kind of happened. I vaguely remember it, and in some ways I kind of remember it the way I want to remember it. So I'm just saying, for the record, I remember it the way I want to remember it.
Yeah.
So the way this happened is my partner Wild Wayne, who was a DJ, shout out to Wild Wayne in New Orleans, he hooked up a meeting for me and some of the executives at Def Jam, and I spit for him, I played my demo, and I remember them showing interest, and the guy was talking to me about coming to New York and possibly signing, and I told him, if I recall, like something like I wanted to think about it. I want some time to think about it, man.
Yeah.
I'm from the South, and as much as I like New York music, I was 19 years old, and I don't know if I was ready to basically move to New York at such a young age and be on my own. I don't think I was ready for that. So No Limit, I knew all of the people at No Limit. So it kind of helped me. It kind of helped in my process of deciding what I wanted to do. I was more of like, I know everybody here, and if things don't work out, I can go home. But if I go to New York and I'm kind of stuck out there by myself, it's like, oh man, I don't want to start robbing people.
Trying to survive.
Trying to survive. So I just chose to stick with what what I consider the more convenient route, and that was getting with No Limit. And
talk to me.
The fact that I also wanted to stand out. You know what I mean? Because at Def Jam, I probably would have just been another one in a sea of artists that has that East Coast flavor.
Yeah.
Whereas at No Limit, I was like, I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb, and that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. When you got to No Limit, at what point was No Limit at that time when you signed with them?
Man, it was like right before everything just exploded. Because I remember it was 96 Bayou Classic weekend. I remember the night of the Bayou Classic, man, Master P had bought up like damn near every commercial spot on the radio, and I thought that was just genius. I mean, because at the time, a lot of No Limit records weren't even playing in New Orleans like that.
Yeah.
But the people that's coming from out of town didn't know that. It sounds like this is the hottest thing in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Every commercial break you're hearing, I always feel like.
Yeah.
So it was a genius move, and to top it off, when you left New Orleans, he put billboards of No Limit on the side of the bridge. So this was the first thing you saw coming in, the last thing you saw going out, and you heard these commercials all the time. And I think, in my opinion, Bayou Classic was a big contributing factor into what eventually became the explosion of No Limit.
Okay, so now you done touched down, you done joined the fam and the team. What was that camaraderie like when you got in there? You saw all of these talented brothers getting busy on a mission to take over the game and take the South to a whole nother level.
What are you talking about now or back then?
Then.
Oh, then? It was weird because I was young. When I signed with No Limit, I wasn't even 20 yet. And I was on a mission, a personal mission, just to basically be, at that time, I wanted to be the best rapper in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it was what it was. I'm competitive, and that's just the way it was. But I can say that being on No Limit at that time, you just got this feeling that you was a part of something bigger than yourself at that time. You knew that you was a part of something that was moving. And I don't know if everybody felt that way, but I know for me it just felt like, man, this is something big. And I enjoyed that.
Beats by the pound, man. Having some of the hardest producers in the game churning out tracks left and right. What was it like getting in the studio with them boys and going in?
Hectic. That's all I can say was hectic. I mean, it goes without saying, people's putting a lot of albums out and a lot of product out.
Yeah.
On a consistent basis. I'm talking about 2 albums were coming out every month. So I just want you to imagine 2 albums coming out every month. You have 5 producers, but you got 1 million artists. So we all basically fighting to get in the studio. We had schedules or whatnot, but You had to be quick. So
Yeah.
everything had to be done like on the fly. So, you know, a lot of those albums were basically, man, you can almost call them freestyle albums because it was just put together like right there. You know,
My God.
we was turning them out so fast. It was like an assembly line. And you knew what you wanted. So for me, I had my songs already written, and I went to certain producers for certain sounds. Like if I wanted something bucking,
Yeah.
I went to KL.
Yeah.
If I wanted something that was smooth or thought-provoking, I went to either Moby or Odell.
Yeah.
If I wanted something that was to dance to in the club, I went to Craig B. And if I wanted something gangster for the
Yeah.
streets, I went to Carlos. So it was kind of,
You had it down to a
so
sign.
you just knew, but everybody kind of unconsciously knew
Yeah.
who to go to.
Shell Shock, Mac. One of my favorite albums of all time, man. First of all, you know, if you get an album that has at least 3 good songs on it, it's a pretty good album.
Man.
This album had all good songs on it. So talk to me about putting this thing together and the mindset behind Shell Shock when you said, okay, this is going to be my debut on No Limit. It's time for me to put these lyrics to work and show the world what I'm working with.
First of all, man, I wish every fan thought like you because my standard was a little different.
Yeah.
You had to have at least about 8 songs on your album that I like. You want me to spend my money. You talking about 3.
What happened was you would go and buy the album and it would only be 3 songs on there from different folks. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So then when you get a Shell Shock and that whole thing is jamming,
Right.
it winds up becoming a classic that you ride with forever.
Right. Shell Shock was, once again, like most of the albums at that time, created on the fly. I didn't really even have a name for it. I just came up with that at the last minute. It was like, yo, what you want to name this album? Shell Shock. So it was like, all right, we're going to name it Shell Shock because Shell Shock was basically it was a tribute to my dad and his military experience. And in fact, like I think I mentioned before, on the cover I'm wearing one of my father's friend's field jacket from the war. So you know, it was something that meant something to me personally, and it was just me wanting to just, you know, it was my first debut on No Limit. I just wanted to let people know that I'm here.
Boss Chick with Mia X, man. That track was hard as hell, and both of y'all got on there and just rode it and brought it all the way home. Yeah. What was that like putting that joint together?
Boss Chick was smooth.
Yeah.
And me, I'm used to bouncing around on the beat, but when I heard the beat, I liked it.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to figure out, like, how do I adjust my flavor to, you know, this smooth, slow type beat? Because me, I like the, you know, I like that or whatever. But it was smooth. And Mia kind of, after I heard Mia verse, I was like, I see this ain't fair. So what I got to do is go back here and kind of put something else together, because I don't think the verse that I wound up putting on there, I don't think that was the original verse I wrote for it.
My God.
But I did put the chorus on there.
Yeah.
And it came out tight.
Be All You Can Be, another one of those ones that sometimes you just got to ride to and clear your mind and jam to that joint right there. Break down the creative process behind that one.
All right. Now, I don't know how Fiend remember it. He might remember it different.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm the one speaking, so I remember it the way I want to remember it. Thank y'all. So what happened was I remember me and Fiend were leaving the Lexus shop. His Lexus at the time had something happened to his truck, and we had to go. We got like a rental. The Lexus dealership gave him a call until his truck was finished.
Yeah.
And we were riding around, and Careless Whispers by Wham came on the radio, and we was just sitting there, and it was like we both just felt it. We were just singing. We were singing it, and we kind of just looked at each other like, man, we gotta hook this up.
Yeah.
Man, let's call Cuz, because that's what we call Moby.
Yeah.
So we called Moby, and Moby hooked the track up, and that night, man, we went laid it down.
Okay, during those times, man, did you feel like you was laying down some classic music that was gonna stand the test of time to the point to where y'all touring to this day, still packing out arenas and selling them out?
I was hoping so. I mean, every time I get on that mic, I'm hoping I make something that people remember forever.
Yes,
if
sir.
not, then what we doing it for? You know, and that's what I think any artist, when you put something down, man, you want people to remember it.
Yeah. Songs like Slow Your Roll, man, where you know, spitting game and just letting folks understand what real life is. Can you speak to actually putting some thought into those lyrics on something that young men could listen to and actually, you know, think about decisions before they go and do them.
Right. Well, Slow Your Roll was I think a culmination. I think that's the right word.
I'm with you.
Was a culmination of what older cats had, the game they gave me, and that song was dedicated to a friend of mine who was a gangbanger that I met, and that was my way of basically translating to him the same message that was translated to me in my youth from the guys who, that go unknown.
Yeah.
Shout out to them because, people see us and they see the artist or they see the individual that has the platform, but they don't know, the people that person encountered in their life to make them who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So those guys who laid game on me, I just want to say shout out to them.
Yes, sir.
They are the true writers of stuff like Slow Your Roll. I might have been the hand that wrote the rhyme, but the game that was given to me came from them.
How was it applying that game as you started to, feel the stardom and the wave, the wind, and all of that motion from No Limit? Because at that time, we talking about the hottest label in the game, and folks are just going crazy. So, I mean, what was that like for you being a part of that whole wave?
It was humbling. It was, as always, it's humbling, man. I think the first time that, I saw somebody just like see me and go crazy, I kind of went crazy. I didn't really know what to do. It's like, I'm like, I don't really know what to do, you know what I mean? Because, it's just something, you don't prepare for that. But it's a lot of love that people show, man, and it's humbling for me. Some people, take that and they build themselves up and make their head swole.
Yeah.
For me, it was just like, man, my music is really impacting people and touching their life, and that's what's important.
When you think about music at that time, man, what was it like maneuvering in the music industry during that time, too?
Well, for me, I was by the time I got with No Limit, I was on autopilot because I hadn't been signed to about 3 different record labels by then.
My God.
And been in the industry since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, at that time it was like, all right, I'm in it, I know what to do. So I was just moving and just trying to make sure I took care of everything that needed to be taken care of.
Can I Ball? You and Soulja.
Oh, yeah.
My God. What was it like when y'all boys got together in jail, man?
All right, well, for the record, I've been knowing Slim since I was a kid. Me and Slim kind of grew up together, and we went to elementary school together. And Slim crazy as hell. Slim was one of the funniest dudes you would ever meet. He always had jokes.
Yeah.
He would what y'all use out here? Y'all say capping?
Yeah. Joning. Yeah.
Joning. He would Joan your ass. He knew how to get under your skin.
Yeah.
And he was a live spirit, man. Slim was around. You knew he was in. If he was in the room, you knew it. It's like he had a domineering personality, and me and Slim basically just got together one night. I was like, "Look, I got this track, man. I need you to spit something on it." He said, "For sure." So he came to the studio, and we just kind of put it together. Me and Slim, a lot of people don't know, Slim was a big East Coast fan too. So me and him, we both was on some lyrical stuff.
Yeah.
Slim's style. A lot of people remember his style and the way he used it, but if you really listen to his vocabulary and his delivery, he wasn't nothing nice.
Talk to me about y'all growing up together and then being able to take over the world together. What is that feeling like?
Well, the crazy thing is, me and Slim went to school together, then Slim started going in and out of jail.
Yeah.
Slim was really out of his mind, so he started really going in and out of jail. So I would see Slim in spurts growing up. Yeah. I'd be like, "Oh, he out now." Or it got to the point that we felt like he was on vacation when he was out. Like, yeah, he on vacation right now. So I see him, and he'd be like, "Man, what's happening? We got to hook up."
Yeah.
But then a couple months later, he in jail again. So when we got to No Limit, I was like, "You straight?" He said, "I'm straight now, big dog."
Yeah.
That was it. So we kind of just started vibing and putting music together.
Tank Dogs, man. You and Fiend and C Murder. I mean, y'all guys got together and rose hell every time y'all touched down. Talk about y'all chemistry.
Well, the immediate crew, when we first got to No Limit, like me, C, and Fiend just gravitated toward each other. So that was our little clique. And we started calling ourselves Tank Dogs. In fact, I think that came from C. The song Tank Dogs came from C. Like, we got the track, C heard it, he put the chorus on it, he basically came up with the concept of it. And I just wrote my verse, Fiend wrote his verse, and we just kind of went in because, we were basically about to put together a Tank Dogs album. Yeah. And I think that album was going to be a reflection of the chemistry between me, C, and Fiend.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about everybody being on that label and everybody being stars in their own right, though, because everybody had their own flavor and everybody had their own audience that they really catered to, but everybody still worked so well together, man.
Right. I think that's what made the label successful because we had so many different flavors and everybody did have their own thing, and I think that's what made it successful because we didn't really have too many latchers on, you know what I mean? Everybody was doing their thing and carving their lane in their own right. And I think that just that camaraderie came through competition because we all competitive. And we always try, when I would hear a song that Fiend would do, I'd be like, I gotta go do me one. I gotta go out and do that. Then hear one I do, and I gotta go out and do that and, you know, whatever.
Yes, sir.
So that's pretty much what I think was a major contributing factor to why the label was so successful.
Exactly. Songs like We Don't Love Them that also got the party started as well, man. I mean, speak to me about just receiving them tracks and then knowing that you had no choice but to snap on them.
Right. So We Don't Love Them was, man, KL sent me that track and I really ain't even know what to do with it. I was like, man, because it was so fire. I was like, what so we just in there, we bouncing. I'm like, all right, I think I know what I'm going to do. So I went sat, you know, scribble it down or whatever, and that was one of those hype songs that I think used to get the club chrome.
Yeah. When it came to being on the label, man, and you started seeing that money come in, how did that impact you, and did it change you any, and how you had to maneuver from that point on?
Well, I'm a person who believes that money doesn't necessarily change a person. I think that it brings out what's hiding underneath you.
Yeah.
If you're a good person, when you get money, you're going to be generous to people.
Yeah.
If poverty was hiding the rottenness in you, see, when you get some money, you going to acting like a nigga who ain't never had. You gonna flash all the way out on everybody. You going to shit on everybody, you know what I mean, like they say. And I think that, you know, money just basically shines a light on you.
Yeah.
And it shows whoever you really are is going to expose you. So for me, you know, I was always a generous spirit. So when I got money, basically, I looked out for the people that I can. And I think sometimes the looking out worked to my detriment. You know what I mean? I mean, as with anything, especially when you don't have proper money management skills.
Go there with me, I feel you.
And a lot of us, you know, we were young, man, and to be making that much money. And I know a lot of these youngsters now, they making more money. Some of them making more money than we did back then. Yeah. So I feel sorry for a lot of these cats that's in the game that don't really have no money management skills.
Yes, sir. When you think about your time during that time, what was your favorite point to where Mac was just having the time of his damn life out here in these streets?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Man, I've been having the time of my life my whole life.
Come on now.
That's just, you know, that's something natural. I live, you know, and I love and I do exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and there were probably moments that I was like, yeah, you know. But at the end of the day, just looking in hindsight, man, I kind of enjoyed myself every day because I'm a creator. So I'm always trying to find some way to express myself through creating.
When you think about your music too, man, what was your favorite song that you dropped where you just felt like you got on that thing and blacked out?
See, that's one of them questions I be trying to avoid. Yeah. America, I'm trying to avoid that question. But I would say on which one? On Shell Shock?
Period.
Man, see, my favorite song I probably haven't even recorded yet.
Ooh.
But on Shell Shock, I would say my favorite song would probably be Slow Your Roll on Shell Shock. On World War III, which was my second album, I would say that my favorite song on World War III would probably be Best Friends. I think. Yeah, I think I could settle with Best Friends. I think that's probably one of my favorites on there.
Okay, when it comes to storytelling in the music though, Mac, you know, what's beef? That was another one of my favorite stories ever told on Wax. What is it like when you penning that story to the pad? And then what do you think is the difference between somebody that just gets on the song and starts rapping and a straight up storyteller?
Well, once again, the influence comes from listening to Slick Rick, listening to Scarface. Man, when I first heard Never Seen a Man Cry, I really wanted to change my life. Because I was like, I really wanted to throw my whole notepad away. I was like, man, I can't do that. This is on a whole nother level. So, I mean, there was certain artists over the years that when I heard their song, I kind of wanted to rethink if I really wanted to do this for the rest of my life, because it's like, damn, man. You know what I mean? So it was hearing those type of things and wanting to either top it or to make something on that level.
Yes, sir.
And Face was one of the best storytellers I ever heard. So when I used to hear stuff that he did, man, I would be like, man.
Yeah.
I mean, so when I went and put my stories together, it was like, it got to be as
hard
or better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Were there any artists during that time that you wanted to meet, that you grew up, that were inspirations to you, that you came across, that you were able to, break bread with?
Well, I didn't get a chance to meet my favorite artist, which is Rakim. We were actually in Las Vegas at the Magic Show, the clothing convention.
Yeah.
And he was there, I don't know if it was with Carl Kanai at the time, with the Carl Kanai line at the time, I don't know. But I saw him, but I didn't get a chance to meet him. So I just want to say to America and to Rakim, Rakim, I have to meet you and take a picture with you, man, because you really inspired everything I do.
That's hard.
And you were my first teacher, because you was able to do something that my teachers couldn't do. You sent me to the encyclopedia because I wanted to understand what he was talking about.
Facts. Being able to travel the world, man, what was that like when y'all went on tour and next thing you know, you find yourself overseas singing that music?
No, what was crazy is being overseas and these people knowing the songs. Like I was in Amsterdam and some guy jumped on the stage with Shell Shock tattooed across his belly. And, I got kind of spooked for a minute because I'm like, I'm from the hood now. So, you jumped on the stage and, you know how things get.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was once again, it was humbling, bro. Just to see like people from all over the country, and you really know, you get an idea of how you impact people's life all over the country, all over the world, I would say.
How did it change you? Because, when you're going over there, you're seeing those different cultures and just different environments, man. Did anything spark a change in Mac coming back from all of that stuff?
Yeah. What happened was I learned that experiences, man, are probably worth more than anything material. I encourage every young man out there, man, travel, see the world, because when you travel and you see different cultures, you get a better understanding of yourself. And you get a better appreciation for the different cultures. Yeah. And I remember as a kid watching Price is Right.
Yeah.
And whenever the people would say a brand new car, these people got excited.
Yeah.
But the smart people on there wanted them trips.
The trips.
Because that car gonna depreciate in value.
Come on.
But that trip gonna be with you forever. So I can't wait to get overseas again.
Yeah.
As a mature adult with an appreciation for, the travels and stuff like that.
How fast was time moving during that time? Because like you said, you got Beats by the Pound churning out tracks left and right. Folks is just trying to get this music as quick as they can. Is that time like a blur to you, or how do you remember and recall that time?
No, I must think fast, because it was fast.
Yeah.
But I remember everything. I got the memory of an elephant.
Come on now.
But it was moving. It was just moving, man, and it was moving fast, and I was just trying to keep up with the pace, and it was fun. There are some things that I think that I could have shown a little more, or given more of my attention to, just cultural wise, and just basically taking in everything that was
like
happening. What? No, meaning just. I never really stopped to appreciate, a lot back then, because I was hungry. I was working, and I had that hunger in me. It was like, this ain't enough. That ain't enough. I got to keep on going. And I appreciate the hunger, because the hunger give you that drive to keep going. But I think every man need to take a break sometimes and just be like, all right.
How do you get one to understand that they need to take a break when they got to get it and you don't know how long you got to get it?
Well, I mean, the first thing we have to do is stop thinking in such a finite way of seeing it.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, tomorrow ain't promised, but, man, you have to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Is it really worth it if the drive is just, if what are you trying to accomplish, and if the drive itself is what you're trying to accomplish, is that really worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to sit back and you have to enjoy yourself. You have to enjoy the simple things in life because life is so, fleeting and, and it's, you're not promised tomorrow. So I think that for the youngsters that's out there on the grind, man, enjoy yourself. Mm-hmm. Take time to enjoy the simple things that matter, like love, family, you know what I mean, stuff like that, because this material stuff, man, trust me, that money can't do nothing but buy you a whole bunch of shit that you're going to be tired of in 2 weeks. I done been there. I promise you. In 2 weeks, you're looking at that stuff that you wanted so bad, like, yeah, it's over there.
Whew. You know what I mean? Come on. What do you think it was about No Limit that made y'all so impactful during that time?
Well, I think it was timing. I think timing was everything. I think No Limit came about at the right, precise time. Mm-hmm. It was like Tupac had just, did his thing and created this sense of being soldiers and just rallying and forming the troops. And then he passed. And when he passed, I think he left that void open, and No Limit kind of filled that void at that time.
Yeah.
No Limit with a combination of other labels and artists as well, but I think that it was just that timing is what made it so impactful. And I think that's with anything. Yeah. I think that's with any person that ever made an impact, it was the timing. A vacuum was created, and then the vacuum was filled.
Now, Mac, I got to ask you, when you found yourself being incarcerated, man, how did that impact you, man, when you was just doing your thing and then you saw everything come to a halt?
It was clearly devastating. We know that. That if I use any other word to describe that, I'd be lying to America. So
come on now.
Yeah, but it was devastating. But over time, man, what's so crazy is I'm a person who adjusts as well to my environment. Yeah, it's part of the camouflage. It's like you're a lizard. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
a chameleon. When you're on brown, you turn brown. So you do as the Romans do. So when I got in prison and when I realized that, man, it may be a while before I leave, I basically had to I had to institutionalize myself so that I can deal with the prison life. Yeah. Because had I not been institutionalized by my own self, I would have been hopping that fence every day. They'd have to shoot me. Yeah. So in order to deal with what I saw, which I knew was abnormal, because, this wasn't, I didn't feel good. So if I didn't feel good about it, then it happened to be abnormal.
Yes, sir.
And I think that I started paying attention to what could get me out of prison, and the guys who were getting out of prison, and I kind of just followed their path. Like, the guys that's getting out, they're volunteering, they're mentoring, they're doing education, they're doing all of this stuff. So, I wanted to win, man. I don't like to lose.
Exactly.
So that was my path that I chose while in prison.
When 1 turned into 5, 5 turns into 10, 10 turns into 20, and then you got 21 summers in this thing, man. What was going through your mind as you started to see the time pass? Was there ever any time where you was like, you know what, it don't look that good in this thing, and I might not be getting out of here?
No.
Talk to me.
If I ever would have had that thought, remember the which brings us back to the first comment.
Yeah.
If I ever would have had that thought, they'd have had to shoot me. I'd been hopping the fence.
Yeah.
So because I know me.
Yeah.
I'm an extremist in some ways.
I feel you.
So they'd have to chain me down. Yeah. So what happened was I had optimism, man. I felt I was going home every year. Every day, every week, I was like, this is gonna be the year, or this is gonna be the month. So that hope that it was coming is what kind of kept me going and kept me motivated to keep focused on what I was doing.
During that time when in walked C Murder and you saw him come in there, what was going through your mind at that time?
Oh, well, they brought me to the office and told me they was bringing him in there. So it was like, yo, they called me in there and they put me in a room, the administration and stuff, and it was like, look, we're bringing your boy here. And they were like, look out for him. I was like, oh, he gonna be straight. He was like, get out my effing office. We bringing your boy here, look out for him. And they left. So, it was good connecting with him, not under them circumstances, of course, but, it was someone that I can actually sit down and we can share stories, memories.
Exactly.
And, but at the same time, it was bittersweet because I hated to see him in that position because he's in what I would consider a worse position than me because he have a life sentence. And Louisiana, don't have parole on a life sentence. So, you know, it was kind of every time I left his presence when we were in prison, I just felt horrible, man, because I was like, damn, my dog got an L.
Yeah.
You know, for me, it was like, man, I'm going home one day anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I actually had an out date. So
Yeah.
it was like, you know, regardless of what happened, I do know that I'm going to see the streets again.
Yeah.
You know, but my boy got that L, man, and you know, we talked, and he a fighter.
Yeah.
He was always in good spirits, and he did a lot of things for a lot of people in prison. Like to this day, you know, a lot of the older guys that are infirmed and sick, C looks out for them. He takes care of them. He handle everything for them. He's in a dorm where he kind of assists all of them.
Yeah.
And they love him in that dorm. And, you know, just me being around that and seeing that my boy had a purpose
Yeah.
for being in there,
Yeah.
then it made me feel a little bit better.
What changed in you during that time? Did you experience any changes or any growth, or during that time?
What, from being around him? Or
Well, not just during the time
just
you was.
time?
Yeah.
Well, of course. I mean, I don't know if, you know, and I like to state what I consider facts.
Yeah.
You know, some people say, well, man, prison changed me. I don't know if prison changes you or if that time away from everything changes you, whether it was prison or whatever, just taking that time out to really get to know yourself. Now, what prison does is, unfortunately, provide time and space
Yeah.
for you to do a lot of self-reflecting. And, you know, I think maturity is inevitable
Yeah.
when you take that time. So that's why we say that's why we mentioned earlier, like, man, really take time out, man, to unplug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And self-reflect, because you won't need prison to help you do that if you do it on your own, man. You got to check
Exactly.
yourself.
Come on. When you think about that pendulum, rap superstar on this side, in prison for years on this side, mentally, how did you keep yourself strong just experiencing all of that stuff?
Well, you know, it's you have to. You kind of forced to.
Yeah.
You know, prison is a place where, you know, you can't come in there with your chest sticking out. They don't care who you are.
Yeah.
And they're going to remind you, the officers are going to remind you that they don't care who you are on the streets.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you get out of line, some of the brothers in there is going to remind you. Yeah. So, you know, you in an environment where you got to be, we really see who you really are.
Yeah.
'Cause we around you 24/7, man. So whatever demons you got, they're going to come out eventually. See, on the streets, you can play a role in front of somebody and then go to your house and be something totally different. But in that spot, man, you are who you are because we right here.
Yeah.
And eventually, if you pretending, we going to see who you are.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of just be, you know, you show respect, man, and you get it. You show disrespect, you know.
You get that too?
You get that too.
Shoot.
You know, you don't know what form that disrespect going to come in, you know.
As somebody that was able to mentor and help folks out during that time, what was it like when you saw young men coming in there after you and facing these, you know, L's or different situations? What did you have to say to them to kind of help them and those that had time that might not have been going in there for a long time? What did you tell them to do when they got released?
Well, basically, I was a part of an organization called Men of Change. We had self-help programs set up to, you know, that was tailored to the individual. Like whatever your interests were, whatever you were into, we had people to send you to kind of help you in that area, because our ultimate goal was to prepare you to leave prison and be a productive citizen. That was our goal, while also doing your time in the most constructive manner. Because when I first came in prison, we didn't have those classes. Nobody kind of told us, look, youngin', you need to do this, do that, and stay away from this.
Yeah.
I kind of just had to learn from paying attention. And it's a good thing that I'm an artist, because artists, and any artist will tell you, we are keen observers.
Yeah.
And that's how we're able to internalize everything and then, you know, pour it out through creation. But I paid attention, and I had to learn quick, because, I mean, you know, this is my life.
Yeah.
You know, every day is life or death when you're in the spot, so
Thanks.
you got to catch on quick. And once I learned all of that stuff, I think it was only natural that I pay it forward and try to use my experiences and whatever stories I can, and to use my platform, because a lot of them was like, man, ain't you so-and-so? So I use that to basically cater, to mentor to them.
Yes, sir.
And, hopefully it, I think it helped a lot of guys. You know, I run into guys, now, you know, me and my wife was in Walgreens, and we ran into a young brother who told me he was one of the kids, and when I looked at him, I'm like, sure was.
Crazy.
And he told me a story that I told him years ago that he said changed his life.
My God. What was some of the game and the advice that you received that changed yours?
Well, once again, you know, it was old dudes who had like the simplest things. There was a brother named Montana Slim who slept across from me. He had been locked up 46 years, and he's dead, bless his soul. He said something that was so simple yet profound one day. He said, somebody was upset about something. He's like, what's going on? He's like, what's going on? I'm like, he mad. So he mad? Oh, that ain't nothing but a feeling. And it didn't register when he first said it. And, you know, it kind of, damn, when I put it in perspective, it was like, well, yeah, man, it ain't nothing but a feeling, just like joy, like anything else. You know, and I think that that message is important for this generation because, man, we in our feelings.
A whole lot.
Everybody's in their feelings. And I think that sometimes being in your feelings blind you from what is important and the job and the focus that you got to do and have.
Being in there, going in there as a young man and then seeing, and you aging in there, seeing other young men come in there, what changes did you see in the generations that came through there after you that were different from you when you came in there?
Man, they got bolder. They got, they got bolder and more, and it was like the ignorance became more magnified, if that makes sense. Because they were doing stuff that we was like, man, how you do that and consider yourself a G? Like, you know what I mean? There was certain things, it was a certain code that we was raised under. You know, men didn't talk too much about the real business. Y'all caught that on the camera? Men ain't really say too much about what's really real on these streets. And, you know, just to see that and to hear the stories about youngins on the streets doing a whole lot of stuff and then posting it on social media. And it was like, damn, man, I don't really know gangsters. I don't know a gangster that wants you to know he's a gangster, if that makes sense. The guys that I know that's really living like that, you would never know.
So, with that being said, were you able to reach any of them and give them the game? And did anybody change from the game that you laid on them too? Because see, that's one of the disconnects that I see a lot of times when it comes to the youth. It's like, you try to give them the game, and I don't like that. If one person out of a million people heard me, it doesn't work. No, we need to get a higher percentage than that one thing out of 100,000. You see what I'm saying?
I agree, but also you have to keep in mind too that, man, change is something bigger than us. So we can give you the tools. We can give you the game. But you have to make a decision within yourself. The individual have to say that, okay, enough is enough. Now, what our job is to make sure that the contrast between what you should and should not do is clear and concise. Like you can see, like, yo, here's this, and here's the results of this. Here's that, and here's the results of this. And I just think that is important for mentors and OGs, you know, whatever we call them, you know, on the streets. I think that we have to show the success of doing the right thing. Because what I've learned about not just this generation, but even mine, you know, a generation before me, man, success is what people, you know, really gravitate towards. So if what you're doing can show me some semblance of success, then I'll follow it. You can't tell me I shouldn't be doing this if you ain't got no alternatives, you know, for what I can do to make that and more.
Answer me this then, Mac, because you got a lot of people that's successful, but they want to hide their success for fear of the outside pressures that come with showing that success.
Well, when I say success, I'm not really talking about just financial success. Now, of course, there are some, once again, you know, you have to know the individual that you are being a mentor or OG to, because it's just like raising kids. Every kid learns differently. Like, you know, you got some kids, you can tell them something, don't go do that, and they're going to take your word. You got some kids you tell them don't do it, but they really got to go see it, and then they'll take your word. And then you got that third kind of kid, like me, at the time when I was a kid. I'm gonna go touch it. You say that shit hot, I won't see if it's hot for real, because I think you lying. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I think when you know the individual, then you know how to
tailor that message.
Because of course I don't think nobody should just show off what they have, because, then are you really trying to help this person, or is this some selfish motivation? I think that what we should do is learn the individual, and then I think that once you know this individual, you know how to reel them in.
Being incarcerated during that time, Mac, what kind of strain did that put on your family?
Oh man, big strain. My parents, I never really experienced, that, and our family wasn't really used to that, because, my parents, they've been together now for 45 years. I'm their oldest child, and I got 5 siblings, so it put a big strain, and it affected everybody differently. Like most of my siblings, I think that many of them just got kind of overwhelmed by the attention that what the case was getting, and, it kind of overshadowed, or I ain't gonna say overshadow, but it probably was frustrating for them to see in the media every day, what was going on with their family member. And even when they tried to forget it, they saw it in the news. So what my brothers and sisters eventually did was scattered all over the country.
Yeah.
Like one was living in Boston, one in LA, one in Florida. They just moved from New Orleans. And I think that was their way of just basically trying to get out of it and just have them some peace from it. Now my parents, they basically, man, they visited me like at least once a month for 21 years. In most cases, twice a month, but at least once every month in 21 years. And I had a lot of support from family, and I think that that's what kind of carried me over. I met my wife like 9 years ago, and she started coming like every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And, I had just a solid foundation. My cousins, my partner, Sam was hitting me up, and, he would come when he in town. We had Kane, he was always there, just making sure that that everything was okay.
Yeah.
My cousin Wiz, you had Fiend,
Yeah.
it was a combination of people that were basically making sure that I was okay. My partner Renard, you know what I mean? My homie D1, all of them just basically was, man, you straight, you need, and I think just that love and support is what carried me through it all. But I will say that my mother was the person who basically made sure from the very beginning that people didn't forget what happened to her son.
Yeah.
This is a mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She didn't have any money. She didn't know what to do. I left my family with rapper-sized bills. You know what I mean? And so my dad had to carry, he had to carry everybody financially. And my mom, she just did the one thing that she felt she could do, and that was basically tell whoever would be listening, my son is innocent. You know what I mean? And she just kept on yelling it until that, like they say, that drop became a wave or a stream or whatever. So, and I think that's what really got me through it.
Dealing with the system, man, what are your thoughts on that, with that hindsight being 2020, and what advice do you have for other people that find themselves in a similar predicament on how to navigate this stuff, man?
All right, so the first thing I would say is learn, man. Learn as much as you can about the law. I think that one of the issues we have in the hood, particularly African Americans in the hood, we don't learn about the law. So we don't even really be knowing the laws that govern the type of crimes that we be getting into, or whatever it is we getting into on the streets. We don't be understanding the law. And you can't go in the courtroom and be like, Judge, have mercy on me, I'm a damn fool. That shit ain't gonna work. Ignorance is no excuse. So, you know what I mean? It's almost like, know the law, number one. If you find yourself in a situation that I was in, learn as much as you can about your case, because that's the only way that you can properly fight it and effectively fight it. But the biggest piece of advice I would give is try not to be in this situation in the first place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do things properly. I won't say I was indeed innocent of this crime, right? But just personal accountability there were things that I done way before this ever happened that led to and made room for something like this to happen. And that's where I take personal responsibility. As far as the system is concerned, the system have a lot of laws in place that are counterproductive to a certain, well, no, counterproductive is not the word, that are detrimental to a certain population of people. I try to be America, I'm trying to be politically correct. All right, so which leads me back to learn the law. Understand what's going on around you so that you would know how to deal with situations that you find yourself in.
When you found out that you was getting out, what did that do to Mac?
Now, what's weird is I was kind of nervous. I was cautiously optimistic because I really didn't want to believe I was getting out because I had so many setbacks over the years. I didn't really want to believe I was getting out until it was like, yo, I was out. Now, this is what's weird. I made parole at like 9-something that morning. About 11 o'clock, because I was in work release at the time. I was working at a shipyard. So about 11 o'clock, they called me to the security office. So I go up front. They got this parole officer there. Now, normally, the process of getting out takes about a week, 2 weeks at the most, because they got to make sure you have an address. They got to approve the address. Yeah. Because you're going out on parole. You're free, but you still have conditions, right?
Yeah.
So normally the process takes about a week or two at average. Well, they called me like 2 hours later. I go up front, and I'm talking to this guy. He's a parole officer, and he's explaining to me the terms of parole or whatnot. And he's like, well, you know, so by Thursday you have to go to this office, and the office that he's telling me I have to go to is on the streets. You know what I mean? So he's like, by Thursday you got to go to this office. Now, I know that normally when you get out on parole, you have 48 hours to get to the parole office to check in. So while he's saying all of this, and he explained the rules of parole, and he was asking me, do I explain? I had to sign stating that I understood all the rules, so I signed the paperwork, this, that, and other. So we talked, but I still don't know when I'm getting out. So I was like, he said, you have any questions? I said, yeah. So when, you know, how long is it going to take for me to get out so I can let my family know should they be here? Because this was on a Tuesday. Yeah. And I said, I want to know if they should be here Friday or is it going to be next Monday or whatever. He said, what you mean? I said, as far as when I get out, that's what I'm trying to find out. He was like, the papers you signed were your release papers, son. So I was like, wait, run it by me again? So he said, the paperwork you just signed, that was your release papers. You're a free man. I said, man, I'm going to holler at you. So I got to go back in and call somebody to come get me. You heard me? So when I called my family, it was just like, what? I said, yeah. I said, come get me right now. So my wife was like, okay, we're on our way. Yeah. And it happened so fast. Man, I got out in 2 hours. So from parole hearing to 2 hours later, I'm on the streets and I'm looking around like literally like somebody in a time warp, like a culture shock. Man, I'm looking around like, what the? So my wife and them take me, they said, what you want to do? My wife and my manager, who is Russell, that's my manager, one of my childhood friends. So he picked me up and he like, what you want to do? I said, man, I want some shrimps. So he took me straight to this restaurant that his family got called Dunbar's, and we went, we ate some shrimps, and I think for the first week or two, man, it was surreal. Everything was just like, oh, man, this is crazy. Yeah. You're not talking about somebody that was locked up for 2 weeks, 2 years. We're talking about 21 years. The world had been changed at least about 3 or 4 different times while I was in prison. And just the technology, and I just went to noticing how everybody is walking around on a damn phone. Ooh. Nobody's even talking to each other. People sitting at the same table with each other texting. I'm in a restaurant like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Yeah. But I love technology. It makes everything so much easier and more convenient. Yeah. You know, I don't necessarily know how to use it yet, but it still makes everything convenient.
Don't get it messed up. I've been out and I'm still trying to have a hard time trying to learn all this stuff, so it ain't just you.
So America, I'm in trouble. If this man been out all this time and he don't know, then I damn sure don't know.
Because it be too much. It's so, okay, talk to me about information and sensory overload.
All right, information, sensory overload. All right, you know, I'm still experiencing sensory overload.
Yeah.
You're talking about somebody that institutionalized themselves
Yeah.
to deal with prison. So now I have to de-institutionalize myself. So this is a slow process. We're talking about 21 years of institutionalization. Is that really a word, America? I don't know if that's really a word.
We riding with it.
We're going to ride with that. So
Yeah.
now I'm trying to de-institutionalize myself.
Yeah.
I still have some institutionalized ways.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm learning and I'm adjusting, and everything has been good. My wife been helping me out a lot as far as just trying to adjust to the way things are, and it's been a blessing. But at the same time, it's just been weird.
Yeah.
Because I'm not used to everybody being so sensitive. You know, in the journey, man, we say what we want to say to anybody we want to say it to. You know, I talk loud. My wife tell me every day, loud, get loud. Yeah, because I'm in a dome with 100 people and we got we got to yell over the yard. So when I get out here, you can't say that. I can't say, I'm a grown ass man. I can say what I want, but you can't because like they'll cancel you. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? You know what I mean? So I had to find out what that meant. They're like, they'll cancel you. I'm like, I'm a whole, excuse my language, America. I'm a whole fucking gangster. What you mean you gonna cancel me?
Yeah.
That's how I was feeling at the time. So, but I'm slowly but surely getting adjusted to everything.
What was some of the hardest institutionalized things for you to kick once you got out that just kind of stuck with you?
I got in the shower with slippers on. See, in the journey, you ain't gonna get in that shower with slippers on. You don't know you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So when I got home, I got in the shower with some sliders on.
Yeah.
And I realized while I was in the shower, man, you tripping. So that's the first thing. Then I must have scrubbed our house from top to bottom. My wife and my daughters was looking at me like I was a science project. They're like, what is he doing? I'm wiping everything down. They just looking at me. I'm like, I got everything smelling like bleach. And they just looking at me like, what is wrong with this dude?
Yes, sir.
But that's how, I mean, it was still, and I was waking up early. She would get up and she like, you up? I'm up at 5 o'clock in the journey. You up at 5, man. You gotta go to work. You gotta eat and go to work. So I was still, you know, I'm adjusting. I still get up early, but I was getting up real early at the time. So those are things that, and then there's some good things.
Yeah, talk to me.
Prison teach you work ethic, man. You got to get it. So, you know, that helped with just being able to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned a couple trades while I was locked up, man, just to be able to always feed myself.
That's right. When you touch back down and then next thing you know, you found yourself on tour.
Yeah, that was weird.
What was that like coming right back to where you left off at? Speaking of sold out shows and stuff, man.
Yeah, so once again, sensory overload.
Ooh.
It was like coming from a place where you're in the dome around 100 people every day and then walking on the stage where you got thousands of people and they're yelling. It was like, damn. So, you know, you hear yelling in the spot, that means somebody getting stabbed. You know what I mean? So, you kind of just got to, you know, all right, and you just move along. But it's fun, man. It's fun getting to be around the brothers again. And it's almost like, you know, like they never missed a beat. Like they doing, I'm watching these dudes, and I'm like, man, these men in their 40s and 50s, man. And they jumping up and down. Me, I came on stage the first concert just walking around, and I'm like, no, man, you got to start bouncing. You know, so I think by the last show, I kind of got hyped. Yeah. Because I still was getting, you know.
Getting the groove back.
America, I'm still getting adjusted. So, you know.
Yeah. What has been the best thing since you got back?
Just being with my family, being able to spend time with my wife, the kids, being able to reconnect with my son, because my son was born while I was locked up. Yeah. And then just and being able to be with my mom, you know, and just being able to hug her. Yeah. Just to thank her for everything. Being with my siblings, because all of my siblings is musicians. Yeah. Like my sister is the lead singer of a reggae band, my sister Tiff. My brother Josh is a saxophone player. Yeah. With a group called Big Easy Brawlers. Mm-hmm. My youngest brother, my youngest sibling, he actually used to play trombone for Beyonce's sister, Solange, and he traveled with her. Yeah. He done been in more countries than me. And he has a band called People Museum, which is like pop fusion jazz.
Yeah.
My other sister is an artist, a cold-blooded artist. She raps, she produces, she does everything that's Tyber. And just being able to be around them and to see how they have flourished and developed since I've been gone, it kind of let me know that they was paying attention to me. You know what I mean? And I'm kind of proud of them, so I brag on them every chance I get. Well, me, I don't do no bragging on me. I'm just a dude. You know how that go.
21 Summers, new music. What was it like touching down and jamming again?
Oh, well, 21 Summers was basically written while I was still in, and it was a reflection. It was me imagining what I would feel like once I was free. It was crazy, man. The song kind of basically was prophecy. Everything that I imagined it would be, it became. Yeah. And it's still here. So it came about basically, I arranged the music, I wrote the music to it. I got with, my wife introduced me to Monster Beats, and got with Monster Beats, gave them my concept. I did like a dummy little track. I gave it to them and said, I want y'all to take this and add y'all flavor to it. And the arrangement was done by me and a brother named Dart. And they just, when they played the beat for me, I was like, that's it, this is the one I want. So we brought it to the studio, laid the vocals down. It was weird kind of hearing myself on the mic again after so many years. But I think it came out good.
Yeah.
It came out good.
What was it like when you found yourself in demand when you touched back down? So many folks trying to get in contact with you and get a hold of you. How did you deal with that?
Once again, that's something that's humbling, man. And if I don't, America, if I don't get back with you, it's because I just got a whole lot going on. So, I don't want nobody to think that I'm just basically saying F them or nothing like that. But, man, things get kind of overwhelming. So I'm trying to get adjusted so that once everything is settled, I'll be back in autopilot. Y'all got to give me a minute now. I've been gone a whole lot of years.
I can dig it. Lastly, Mac, for your fans and people that want to get in contact with you, is there anything you want to tell them, and how can they contact you?
That would be a question for my publicist. Where is she? My sweet, lovely wife. I think they can contact me through Instagram. We're at Mac Phipps Official. Yeah. And I think that they can contact me either there or through my manager, Russell. And if you serious and you got a legitimate thing that you want to do, because y'all got to keep in mind, I ain't got a lot of time to be bullshitting.
Come on.
If it's serious and it's really about business, man, get at me, and we can collaborate, because I'm a creator. So if I'm gonna collaborate with you, then we gonna collaborate.
That's right.
It ain't gonna be a lot of, unless I just have to. Yeah, I'm sending you this. No, we gonna get together and we gonna collaborate, because I like the vibe, and I got to feel you.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So that's what I would say to the producers and rappers out there that want to do some collaboration, and just give me some time, because like I said, I'm getting adjusted, but make sure the paper's straight too.
Come on now.
Make sure the paper is straight.
With you on that. Matt, appreciate you coming through this thing, boss. Wish you nothing but the best and much success. Beehive Radio shouted. Matt, holla at y'all in a minute, man. We gone.
I did that with the wrong hand too, America.